All right, let's get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Bethany. I'm an educator with Singer Sewing, and in today's class, we're going to make a little zipper pouch, but it's a fun little triangular one. And we're going to embroider on our fabric. So we are going to be using our Singer SE9180 sewing and embroidery machine. So you're going to get a really in-depth look at this machine today and how it works in embroidery mode and sewing mode. But before we dive in, I see we have people joining from all over. So I'm so excited that you're here. I do have two helpers, two colleagues of mine in the chat, Amy and Sonny. So if you see their name pop up as a answer to your question in the chat, that's who they are. If it's something they feel like I need to repeat or show again or explain, they'll come on and let me know, and then I'll do that on camera. So that's kind of it. Again, like Nicole said, if you miss anything in the live or whatever, you want to watch this playback for when you want to make this yourself, it will be on Michael's YouTube channel within 24 to 48 hours. So go check and look for that there tomorrow. But I don't know about you all, I'm ready to get started. Now, if you did not jump on the class last week, so we're doing classes every Thursday at the same time, noon Central Time. Singer is with Michael's. And last week, Sonny did a class on embroidery, kind of like how to prepare for embroidery. So your stabilizers, the right threads, how to hoop. So I'm not going to dive too deep into that because she covered it so well last week. If you missed last week's class, again, that replay is over on Michael's YouTube. I know Amy or Sonny will post a link to that if you want to save that for after our class is over. So we're going to kind of jump right in. I am using denim today. I think it's fun to embroider on denim. I really like the stability that denim gives this project. I feel like with this project, you definitely need a thicker, heavier duty material like denim, canvas, things like that. So I chose denim. I had so much denim on hand, so I just grabbed some. And then I am using a stabilizer on the wrong side or the back side of my fabric, because when you're doing embroidery, like we learned in Sonny's class last week, you do need stabilizer for your embroidery. The purpose of stabilizer is to give your stitches stability on your fabric, because you're stitching so much in just a small space. It's putting a lot of holes in that fabric. So this is going to give that stability. The stabilizer I'm using today is my personal favorite for projects like this. It's a sticky tearaway. So I'm going to hold this little piece up. So there's a kind of like a soft fabric-y kind of feeling side. And then there's kind of like a shiny, I don't know if that's translating well, but a shiny papery side. And it just peels right off. Okay, so this paper piece comes off. And this is sticky, very sticky. And I can just place it to the wrong side of my fabric, press it down, and it's on there. So then I can just hoop my fabric and I don't have to worry about my stabilizer shifting or moving. It just makes it really easy for a project like this. So with denim, canvas, this is really great, because after we stitch on this side, which we're about to do, and our stitches are on, then we just remove it and it comes right off, and it will tear away from the stitches because it is a tearaway. It's sticky, but it tears, okay? So I wanted to show you a little up close of the stabilizer I'm using and why I chose it. For the sake of time and limited counter space, I went ahead and hooped my material for today's project because we are going to stitch this out, okay? So I hooped my material. You'll see that we're using, and they are going to drop a link to, if they haven't already, in the chat to today's project. When you signed up for class today, I think they had accidentally linked the wrong document to the class. So if you want this project step-by-step tutorial to follow along later, we have that linked for everybody to download to make it on your own time and watch the playback if you want. So be sure you're grabbing that document so you can have it. But that's what we're making today. And we are going to be doing the exact same size that I did in the tutorial. However, if you want to size this different ways, you want to make a smaller version for like a little change to keep your loose change in or something like that, you absolutely can. I chose to go with a slightly bigger size because I wanted something that I could put my sewing notions in. Hence the reason why I wrote notions or stitched out notions with my embroidery machine on this one. So it will zip open like this. And I need my zipper tape for today's project. I need my point turner for today's project. And this size will even hold my full-size fabric scissors, which is so nice. So this is a great little size pouch, but it's a fun little quirky pouch for travel notions. You could put your makeup brushes in this, whatever you want to put in it. Okay, so that's what we're making. So the size that I have is 11 inches by 11 inch square. You just need the one square for this project. What else you need is a zipper. So let's talk about zippers real quick. You can get a zipper that's I always go slightly bigger, at least an inch and a half bigger than my fabric. So my fabric's 11 inches. I think I cut this at like 12 or 12 and a half inches. This is off of a roll of zipper tape. If you've never seen zipper tape by the yard, you can get it in a lot of different colors. I do know that Michaels carries it online only. And so you can order this. And then the ones that I have a bunch of different colors, and it came with the zipper pulls. So look at what you're getting. Make sure it comes with the matching zipper pulls. What I love about those is I can mix and match the pull with the color of the tape, which is fun. But today we're going red. We're going to do a red. I already put my pull on there, but we will be taking it off, and I'll give you a little tip when we get to that step of how I find it easy to put the pulls on. I'll be sharing that with you. So you just cut this down. You can buy zippers to a certain, individually to a certain length if you want. But for me, I never know how much zipper I'm going to need. And if I want to make this in 3 different sizes, I have plenty of zipper tape to do so. All right, so we've got our zipper tape and our zipper pull and our fabric, and that's really all we need. So now I'm going to jump over to the machine, and we're going to design what we're going to stitch out. So let's see if I can remember what order. Yay, I got it right the first time. What order my cameras are in. All right, so this is the Singer SE 9180. I currently have it in embroidery mode because we are going to embroider first our design on our fabric, and then after we will switch this machine to sewing mode. So you'll get to see that process, and we'll sew up the rest of the pouch with the zipper and everything. So as I did on the first one here, which you guys can see, whoop, there we go, kind of flatten it out. I stitched out the word notions on this one. I kind of made it small, just a little something. You could personalize it with a name, initials, whatever you want. I think for today, I'm going to type out the word Singer because I am using red, and I have a red thread in my machine. So I want to show you how I set this up on this machine. If you already have an embroidery machine and it's not the SE 9180, your process may be a little different. But if you're in the market for an embroidery machine, you'll get a good glance at what this one can do. And I'm only using the fonts that are built into the machine. So I'm currently in embroidery mode. I've already selected fonts. There's a bunch of designs on here that you can choose from. There's a lot, but I'm going to select font. By the way, it does come with this little red stylus, which makes it really easy to tap on the screen, but it is great with your finger too. Okay. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick, let's just do that one maybe. Now this machine does have 3 different font sizes, a large, a medium, and a small. And I am going to go with the medium size and just type out the word Singer. Okay. Oh, too many R's. All right. So what I have here is my letters. Now, obviously everything falls to this baseline here, but I really want my G to kind of come down. So we're going to fix that. And I think for this size, I think we're doing okay. So before I fix this, I do need to rotate the entire design. I know it sounds a little counterintuitive, but that's the order that you kind of have to do it in. So I'm going to tap my rotate, and I'm going to rotate my design 90 degrees. And then I can just drag this anywhere. So I am putting it on that side of the hoop because here's my hoop right here, because I want it to stitch along this long side of my fabric, because this is going to be the top of my bag. Okay. So depending on which way you hoop, whichever side has the excess fabric, the opposite side is where you're going to stitch, okay? Now, if I had the excess fabric on this side, then I would move this to this side and flip it over and stitch out on that side, okay? So just pay attention to which side your excess fabric is on. And mine is on the side that it connects today. So we're gonna stitch down this side. So I need it to go just like that. All right, and so now that I've done that, I do want to click on let's see here, this little T, double T with the arrow. This is your spacing. And if I click on this little save icon, it allows me to move each individual letter, and I can select which letter I want to move. So now that I've done that, I can tap on this. Whoop, too far. There we go. So that looks better. And it's just going, I'm kind of lining up the top of the letters this time so that the G actually hangs down. And I'm going to click OK and click OK. And there's my design ready to be stitched out. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Are we good with questions and picking out a design? If you don't want to do a font, you could do one of our designs that's built into the machine, or import your own design, or use our MySewNet software, which is our embroidery software that works with this machine because it's a Wi-Fi enabled machine, which is awesome. And you could bring in a design that you've made there. So there's a lot of ways that you can pick a ton of different options for designs. Okay. All right. So now I'm ready to put my hoop on my machine. As you can see, I have my sticky tearaway stabilizer on the back of my fabric. I kind of go crazy and sticky tearaway stabilizer the entire thing because it just makes it easier for me when hooping. But you can do a smaller piece if you need to. It's totally up to you. And I'm going to switch over to the machine here. I've already got it threaded. I am using a Rayon thread. I'm using a embroidery thread in my bobbin, and I'm going to slide this on, lift that up a little higher. Well, helps with my needles all the way up. There we go. And I'm going to slide this in until it clicks. There we go. So you kind of have to really get it in there. And I'm going to, I like to hold my top thread. Let me switch back over to wrong camera. There we go. So now we're ready to stitch out, and there we go. So I'm going to tap. There we go. It is moving around. And with this machine, because we have 6 different letters, it's going to tell us how many stitches are in each letter. I'm going to lower my presser foot and tap the little scissors. I like to do that because it gets this little tail off and I don't have to worry about stopping and clipping. And then now that my machine is hooped, my thread is ready, and my design is ready to stitch out, all I have to do is tap play. Now, one thing I like to point out before I'll switch to the overhead camera is on the screen, it is following along with what is being stitched out in real time. So I can see where we're at in this process. I can also see right here how many stitches I have left to stitch out, what percentage I'm at. It says I have 6 colors. It's expecting me to make 6 color change if I need to, but I don't have to. I'm going to keep the same red color the whole time. And it also tells me what my size of my finished design will be here. I'll switch over to the overhead camera so you can kind of see it stitching out. Embroidery is one of those things where you just kind of get to sit back, relax, and watch it do its thing. And I'm going to stop because I am getting my bobbin to the top, and that's never really happened before. So I'm going to trim my thread. I apologize. You know, it works perfect when you test it and then get into a book. I've never had that happen before. So let's see. Well, it looks great from the back, but I'm not really sure why my bobbin is pulling to the front. So let me see if I can just rethread my bobbin.
So as you're doing that, Bethany, I asked the question, how many have done embroidery by machine before? And you've got a couple people that have been doing this. I think that's great. And then so it seems also that you probably have, we just had someone say never. So this is new to some people. So you got couple new and a couple experienced people.
I love it. I love it. And so everybody has an opportunity to learn something new today based on their skill level. I am going to try to pick up where I'm left off. It may not be the prettiest finished embroidery, but it's okay. We're live. Things happen. We go with the flow around here. And we're going to see if that okay. See how it's all red now? I think my bobbin just got out of the tension disc or something. And that's why you can see the white, which my bobbin is white. So I'll show this real quick. This is your bobbin thread, which is a embroidery bobbin thread. And that's why you're seeing the white. So it was just pulling to the front. But now we're moving on. We're on the letter I. And it's still going. Laura had a question about what Singer machine do you suggest for embroidery, I think. So this is the Singer SE 9180. I'm sure Amy will link it here. It is available over at Michael's in their stores and on their website. And this is our brand new, it just came out last year, sewing and embroidery machine. As I mentioned before, we do have an embroidery software called MySewNet. And this machine is actually MySewNet enabled. And what that means is the Wi-Fi enabled machine. So I can actually log into my MySewNet embroidery account that I have, my design software. I can access our full library of designs. I can import my designs right here. I don't have to use a flash drive or anything like that. I mean, I have a space to do that on the side of the machine. But because this is a Wi-Fi enabled machine, my software communicates with my machine and I can send designs directly to my machine from my computer or my tablet. And I don't even have to do anything else. I don't have to hardwire in or use a flash drive. It's very easy to use. The largest hoop size for this machine is the one that I'm using, which is a 170 by 100. There are two other hoop sizes that are available, but the machine does come with the largest hoop in the box. The two other ones that you can purchase separately is a 100 by 100. So let me hold that up real quick. A 100 by 100, so square hoop. And then we have a 40 by 40 round spring hoop. These are great for those little monograms on a pocket or a collar or a cuff or wherever. So we have these three hoops, the one that I'm using, the 170 by 100, and then the 100 by 100 and the 40 by 40 round spring. And these are the three hoops that are currently available for this machine. We also have, comes with a lot of feet, but we also have additional feet that are available for this specific machine as well. And so, yeah, let me switch it back over so you can see the fun part. You'd rather see this than my face anyways. All right, do you have to buy the fonts or other things she just spoke about in her library? Okay, so the fonts and designs that I showed you on the screen, those are what's built into the machine. It comes with, I think, 10 different fonts, which you saw earlier when I was typing this out. And it comes with, I think, 150 or more designs built into the machine. Then if I have a MySewNet account, there is a tier of that account that you can add the library, which we have a whole library of designs and everything there. So if you were to use that account and have access to the library, you could access that here on the screen. So when it gets done stitching out, I'll show you what that looks like because I think a visual will help. But yes. So, and then you can bring in your own designs as well into the software too. All right, so it's stitching out my G. and it's putting it right where I told it to. We're looking good. We only have 2 letters left. Oh, wrong camera. I'm gonna get these in order one day. All right, so real quick, we're almost done. We're at 74%, 75%. For me, I really like looking at this, and I really enjoy seeing it here as well, with the stitching out. So someone getting this for a birthday gift? That's exciting. Congratulations and happy birthday. All right, the other thing I wanted to point out on the machine, and I know I keep switching back and forth, is this little dial right here. This slider is our speed control. It actually does control the speed of the embroidery. You notice I don't have it turned all the way up. So I didn't want to stitch it out at full speed. I like to kind of tone my embroidery down a little bit. It just kind of helps it not, I mean, you're stitching so much in a small space. So I personally don't like to put it all the way up. You can, but, and then because this is a computerized machine, we have a scissor snip button, we have a needle up down button, obviously our back stitch and our start stop is here. But these controls are also here on this screen. Can you do more than one color? Absolutely. So if I wanted to, I could have changed the color for each one of these letters, but then I would have had to rethread 6 times. And so for sake of time, I just stuck with the one color. But yes, in our designs, we'll have different colors as well. And you can, it'll tell you what order the colors are in. Oh, look, we're all done. And it's going to tell me that. So let me switch over here. So see, I have a pop-up right here that says your embroidery is finished. So you were saying if I wanted to do different colors, it's showing all the same color here. But if I had changed the colors, I could have, and then it would have popped up an alert and tell me which color to put in next. If you have a design with multiple colors, it'll put the colors here in the order that they're going to be stitched out in. So you know which color to bring up next. Okay. Awesome. All right. Now I'm going to just remove this. Let me switch back over to the overhead, because when you lift up this fabric here, you'll see this little button. I know it's right in the corner of your screen. Push down and pull to release, nice and slow. And then I am going to lift my foot, and then it has an extra high lift, so I can get that right out. Now, I know we had a little oopsie here at the beginning, so just ignore that. That was probably me just not getting that bobbin in the tension disc the first time, and you should always test your stitching before you stitch on your finished project here. But so, other than that, it looks great.
Bethany, just real quick, I do want to tell you that sometimes when you have a mess up, it's great learning for everybody. Yes. So just by having that, I mean, I learn all the time from whenever I mess up. So, I think it's great because you put in the bobbin again. Sometimes you just have to rethread the machine, right?
Yeah, it was a simple fix. But you can see the impact of that thread not getting all the way in that tension disc. So again, practice, and it happens to the best of us. Obviously, I've practiced this several times and it didn't happen, but it is with you. And like Sonny said, it's a great learning opportunity for everybody. So now Marian said, I noticed you did not cut the thread. Does it cut it for you? It does. That's the joy of a computerized machine. At the end of the embroidery, it automatically cuts the thread and it brings them to the back. So you'll see those here. Okay. And then on the front, if I wanted to cut my threads in sewing mode, I have a little scissor snip button, which for me is one of my favorite features on a computerized machine. All right. So now that I have this done, I'm going to release the hoop by twisting this little knob. This just kind of loosens it here. So I can separate the hoop, the front and the back pieces. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera there. All right, so here's my finished stitch out. I am going to remove my stabilizer. You kind of have to really get in there. This is some good sticky stabilizer. This is a good job for kids. if you have a little kid that's like wants to help, but maybe not have them stitching out because they're little, this is a good job for them to just pull and remove stabilizer. I had the stabilizer on here for a little while, so that's like really sticking good. I'm not going to sit here and pick it all off, but you get the idea. Now, it is going to stay in like between my letters and stuff, and that's totally fine because it's going to give that stability over time. But it just, see how nice that looks, and there's no puckering, there's no like issues. It just looks like I hand wrote that on there, and that's the look you want to go for. Okay, so next we're going to sew this into a triangle shaped zipper pouch, and obviously I can't do that in embroidery mode. So this machine has two modes: embroidery mode and sewing mode. And so right now the screen is in embroidery mode. I can't access any of the sewing stitches or any of that. So that's because this embroidery arm is attached. In order to switch it to sewing mode, there is a handle or like a little clamp over here on the end of the embroidery arm. And I just pull that and disengage. As soon as I disconnected the embroidery arm from the main machine, you see that my screen changed into sewing mode. Okay, so I am going to carefully set this embroidery arm aside. You do want to make sure that you're always keeping it nice and flat in a safe space so that that embroidery arm isn't getting bumped around. And then I have my main little arm that has my compartment, and that just slides right into place. Now I have it in sewing mode, and it looks like a sewing machine that you're probably used to seeing. And I'm going to switch out my foot. So I had the embroidery foot on, and I need to change that out. All right, so this is the embroidery foot. It does come with the machine. Okay, so we're going to take that off, and I'm going to put on the proper ankle, throwing it around, and a different foot. And give me just a second to put this little screw back in. Do we have any other questions?
Nope, I think we're
Okay.
doing good.
Okay, this is honestly the hardest part for me is these tiny screws because I have pretty nails. And so sometimes they're just hard to get in the right spot, and then I get it and we're good. There we go. It's just getting it started is the hardest part for me. All right, so now that it's on, I definitely want to take my screwdriver and really make sure it's on nice and tight. All right, so I wanted to just do a quick little overview of the sewing mode. But before I do, someone asked about the My Sewnet library. I can still access the My Sewnet embroidery library by clicking on this little cloud right here. And I'm already logged in into my Sewnet account. My cloud is where I would find my designs that I've saved to the cloud to be able to access on the machine. But the library is an additional part of my Sewnet subscription account that I have, and it will pull up all of the different designs, and I can search for different designs. And there's currently 9,236 designs in the My Sewnet library, and they're adding new ones all the time. So I can search for all sorts of things. It'll pull it up. I can even filter it down to the size hoop that I'm using, which is really helpful. And so I can access these designs right here on the machine, which is the first time we've ever had a machine that can do this in the Singer line of machines, which is really, really exciting for us. So that's what that looks like. And we've done a class on this before, so if you want to look that up, I highly recommend it. So now what I'm going to do is actually switch out my foot for a zipper foot. And we're going to make this into a little zipper pouch. I'm going to scoot that back for a second and have my little table space here. And let's see. So we have our zipper tape, as I mentioned, and we want, there's a right side and a wrong side. The wrong side, you don't really see the teeth. The right side or the top is where you see the teeth. And so this is going to be the top of our bag, right up here. And then we're going to basically make it like this, but then squish one side down. Okay, so we're going for a triangle shape. So bear with me on this because we're going to get there. I want my zipper to open this way. So I am going to take my zipper tape. I find it easy when I first attach the zipper tape is to just attach it all together so I know that it's going the right way. And use my reach. I'm a big fan of clips, as you guys probably know if you've ever taken one of my classes before. So I'm just going to clip my zipper tape along the length of this denim here. Right sides together. There we go. Oh. And I am going to use a straight stitch in my zipper foot to sew down this zipper so that it attaches. I am sewing on this side of the zipper closest to the edge. I will switch over to the sewing machine in just a second. Let me bring it back in so that camera is in a better spot. Now, you would typically change thread and do all of that, but for sake of time today, I'm not going to. Because this will work fine. And I have my machine set to a straight stitch. And we're just going to do a little back stitch. And be sure you take your clips out or your pins out as you go. Now you see I'm getting to this little pull right here and it's in the way and it's giving me a little pucker here in my zipper tape. So if you put your needle in the down position, you lift the foot, you can slide the zipper pull past it. See how it straightens it out now? I can put my foot back down and keep sewing. Now my zipper tape is hanging off the edge and that's intentional. I always like to have a little extra. It gives me a little wiggle room. I will trim that down when we're done. Now someone asked, does it cut the threads for you? I'm going to switch real quick. If I tap this button right here, the scissor button, or it's right here on the screen as well. It just cut my threads. And I don't, well, it didn't that time, did it? Oh no, it did. It's just caught in the bottom. There we go. So there we go. We have our zipper attached. Now what I am going to do is fold this up and over. How are we doing? Good on time? Okay, good. I'm going to fold this up and over. And normally you would kind of go to your iron and press this so that the zipper tape is going to the back. But then we're going to top stitch to help it hold that shape. And because I'm top stitching, I am going to switch. Let me show this over here. So see how now my zipper foot, I kind of need to move it over to the other side so that I can top stitch along this edge. So I am going to just switch to the other side. And you don't have to use your zipper foot for this part, but you can just leave it on because we're going to attach the zipper to the other side. There we go. I'm getting a thread caught. There we go. All right, so now I have, oh, switch cameras here. I don't know if you can see that. I have a really pretty top stitch all the way across there. So that's holding my zipper down in place. And now I want to flip it over and put my zipper on the opposite side of this square. So I'm going to move that back out of the way and trim my threads real quick just for my own ease. Now, I have a question for those watching. Has anyone done zippers before? What's your comfort level with zippers? Are you comfortable with them? Are you terrified of them? I want to know. So now I'm going to fold the bottom end of this up and line it up with the other side of the zipper. And when I do so, I want to make sure that my fabric is kind of staying in alignment here. We'll clip there. We can clip here. It's easier to do laying flat, but I want you guys to be able to see.
Sorry, Bethany, I was talking and you didn't hear me. When you ask the questions, some say zippers are easy, very comfortable. Some are terrified, some are not very comfortable. So you got, again, a whole range here.
Yes.
Of what's going on.
I love to hear it. Nicole and I were talking, our moderator today, we were talking before class started, and she was telling me that she's actually kind of scared of zippers herself and how I get so comfortable with them. And I said, practice, practice, practice. That's why I like zipper tape. It's fairly inexpensive. You can get it in a lot of colors. You can cut it down to whatever size. And it just is an opportunity to kind of really play around and have some fun. All right. So I'm going to do this again. Now, I know that Amy has shared, if she hasn't already, or what we call our master class list. So if you're not aware, Singer has been doing these kind of classes, live Zoom classes with Michaels for several years. I think we're approaching our 3-year mark next month when Sonny first started doing them in March of 2021. And so we have quite the library of classes over on Michael's YouTube channel. So you definitely need to go check those out. But I know we have a whole masterclass list. I think Nicole just posted it in the chat for you all to be able to check out previous classes. And the reason I mention that is because I did a whole class on zippers. I did 2 classes on zippers. One was like, I think 4 different types of zippers and how to sew them. So we went through several, including this type of zipper. We went through like an invisible zipper for garments and all sorts of things. And then the next class that I did was actually making a zipper pouch and applying what we learned in the previous class to that project. So, all right, so I am approaching this zipper pull again. I'm going to leave my needle down and raise my foot and slide this. I kind of have to do it with my hand in the pouch. There we go. Keep going.
So Bethany, we have a suggestion for the next time you do another zipper class on, she's asking about zippers on curves to make them easy for her. So next time.
I wish I had my bag within reach that I used, that I made a curved zipper situation. I've done it. It is challenging, but it can be done. And when it is done right, it looks really nice. All right, so now I have mine sewed across here, but I need to top stitch it. So this is the part where, I don't know if you can see this. I got my hand in there. I pulled my zipper pull off. That was intentional. We're going to separate this completely. So now I'm going to fold this back and top stitch this real quick. And again, I need to change my placement of my zipper foot. Thankfully, these zipper feet are super easy to put on and off on this machine. I say that and then I keep dropping it. And then you can just slide it back and forth, makes it really easy. Except for right now, this very moment. Telling you, anything can happen on a live, that's for sure. If I've learned anything over the last few years of doing these classes, anything can happen on a live. There we go. Now I have this little tail here that wants to come up front. So I'm going to move that. There we go. All right, so now I have my top stitch on this side. So we're gonna scoot back, switch camera again. I'm gonna actually kind of tilt you guys down a little bit so you can see this part. All right, so I have my embroidery design on my fabric with my 2 ends of my zipper, and now I need to put my zipper pull back on. So I'm going to do it this way. Now, I was telling Nicole I had a little trick for this. Now, if you can tell right here that my zipper tape on one side is shorter than the other side. Can you guys see that? I'm trying to help. So when I line up my fabric, my zipper tape is lined up, but this side is like 4 teeth longer than this side. That's my trick. Okay. That is my trick for attaching zippers. I find it easiest if I shorten one side and leave one side shorter and one side longer. And I feed my pull in. Well, it helps if I go the right way. Let me do it from this side. Let me do it from the right way and then I can turn it wrong way. Okay. So feed my little pull into the taller side first. Okay. And there are jigs for this, and I have one. And let me tell you, I get so frustrated with that thing because I've gotten so comfortable with doing it this way that I cannot figure out the jig. But there are jigs, and if that works for you, absolutely use that. And then I stick the shorter side in and kind of fiddle it in. And it is cumbersome, and I'm trying to do it at an angle so that you guys can see. That doesn't mean that it is easy for me. So let's see here. Okay. There we go. So you just have to work it, but see how I've got a few teeth taller and now it's going on nice and smooth, and there we go. So there's our zipper. Now we want to turn this into a fun little quirky triangle shape. So I am going to turn it inside out. All right. So what we're going to do next is I want this end, sorry, I need to lower my hands. I want this end where the zipper starts to be the top of the bag. So I want it to be like this part of the bag, okay? And then it's going to open down. So I've got my zipper pull here. I am going to kind of pull it away from the edge, but I've got my sides lined up here, and I'm going to clip the sides of my fabric together. It's going to be the tall side. And I'm going to clip the zipper tape together so it doesn't shift. And we are going to sew 3/8 inch across here. And then we're going to do a different closing on this end to give it that triangle shape. So let me come back to this camera. I'm going to swap this foot out for the all-purpose foot. We have used 3 different feet in this class today. I find that to be quite the feat that we have accomplished. And we're just going to do a straight stitch. You want to back stitch. We are going over the zipper. This is giving that zipper stopping point so the zipper pull doesn't slide right off once we finish our bag. Now for me, this is my comfort, okay? You do what you want. I hand wheel this part. I do not want to break a needle. is personal preference for me. And I am going to backstitch. There we go. That's my preference. I like to take that part really slow and easy and not force it. And it's plastic, so we just don't want to break a needle, especially live on air. Okay, so I've got this side done. Let me switch back over here. Sorry, my camera, I bumped it. All right, so I've got this side done. And so for this side, we're going to close it by, instead of going down the length here, we're gonna pull this open and put the zipper in the center and clip it this way. And we're gonna sew 3/8 inch across there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. There we go. Okay, so I'm going over this zipper teeth are right here. I am using my hand wheel for just a few stitches to get through that part. Again, just for my own peace of mind. I feel like it's safer. Nothing's worse than being this close to finishing a project and breaking a needle. Not happening today on my watch. There we go. So now I am done with that, and I'm going to come back to this camera and we're going to kind of scooch out. All right, I'm going to trim some threads. Now this final part is where we're going to kind of trim up our zipper tape. So see how it's hanging off? We want to remove that excess. And I like to snip my corners because I am using a bulky denim, so it's helpful to kind of take down that bulk. So when I turn it right side out, it's nice and clean, nice sharp corners. We're going to do the same to this side. Trim off this excess and remove the bulk. All right. I've made a mess. We'll slide that over there. I'm going to open my zipper and turn my little pouch right side out. This is where this little corner tool, and you guys have seen me use it before. It's one of my favorite must-have tools for any sewist. It's this little guy right here. And I like to use it to get my corners out, press out my seams. If I need really crisp seam lines, especially if I'm about to top stitch something, you can just run it right down that seam, and it's just so nice. I'll flip it over, do these corners. There we go. How nice that looks. We can zip it shut. Ah, look at that. There we go. I think I'll probably find a red marker and color that red, and nobody will be the wiser. And I will use this all the time. Super cute, really nice, easy to put your fabric, scissors in there, full-size zippers, scissors, point turner. There's my screwdriver. Don't want to lose my little stylus. I'll stick that in there. Now that I put it in there, I probably will because I don't normally keep it in there. But there we go. Look how cute that is. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this class, have had some fun with me today, learned something new. I hope you go and make it. Great for a pencil case. I just saw that come through. So yes, I think this will be great for kids. You could embroider their name on it and then have them take it to school. I might make one of these for my makeup brushes to keep them safe when I travel. So this would be a great idea for that. And then it's machine washable. It's just denim. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I know that we put some links in the chat for this tutorial, so be sure you have that. Also, the replay will be back on Michael's YouTube channel within 24 to 48 hours. So be sure to catch that so you can sew along with me. And if you have any questions about the SE9180, be sure to click the link that we put in that in the chat for this machine. It is available over on Michaels.com and Michaels stores. So I hope you've had fun. We will be back next week with another class, same time, same place, Thursdays at noon Central, and I'll see you then. Bye.